Hello, great to have you with us for the best of the Vanarama National League. We've got half an hour of England's fifth tier right here on BT Sport. But before we get into this weekend's action, this is how our clubs got on midweek with replays in the FA Cup first round.
Salford City leapfrogged Wrexham into second and cut the gap at the top with Leyton Orient to 1 point. They had to come from behind though after Jack Muldoon's opener for Harrogate. Danny Whitehead equalised before Liam Kitchen gave Harrogate the lead again. Adam Rooney's goal levelled things up just before half-time. Rory Gaffney then sealed all 3 points for the Ammies with one straight off the training ground. Sutton's fourth game in 10 days saw them travel to Braintree. The home side started the brighter with Justin Amalazor picking out Marcel Barrington to give the Iron the lead. Amalazor was influential again for Braintree's second but fell short of getting his name on the scoresheet, Billy Croup converting the winger's cross. Despite the 2-goal deficit, Sutton started the fight back. Charlie Clough headed in a lifeline for Paul Doswell's side, and a late penalty slotted away by captain Jamie Collins salvaged a point for the Surrey side. Boreham Wood welcomed rock-bottom Dover Athletic to Meadow Park, hoping for their first win in 5 games. It wasn't to be though, as Ini Effiong stabbed home the only goal of the game to secure back-to-back victories for Dover and move them off the bottom of the table. Hartlepool were on a run of 5 straight defeats after losing to Dover 3 days earlier, and the writing was on the wall again when Danny Rowe found the net just before the break. And after Arthur Nauer doubled Fylde's advantage, Pools could only muster Liam Noble's penalty as the slightest of consolations. Maidstone followed up their demoralising loss to Havant and Waterlooville with another loss to Eastleigh. Harry Wheeler wouldn't have been pleased with the manner of their defeat, 3 set pieces down the Stones. The first finished off by Joey Jones. Paul McCallum rose highest to make it 2-0 for the visitors before adding another to make the points safe. Ben Streven's side end November unbeaten and have 5 straight wins on the road. Dagenham and Redbridge had won 4 out of their last 5 games when they welcomed Havant and Waterlooville. That good run of form looked like continuing when Connor Wilkinson smashed in the opening goal for Peter Taylor's rejuvenated side. The visitors were unbeaten in 4, but any hope of a result in this game was in doubt when Wilkinson doubled the host's advantage 5 minutes after the interval. And when Angelo Balanta was allowed all the time and space to shoot 15 minutes from time, all hope was lost for Lee Bradbury's side. Despite Jonah Ayunga's 85th minute strike, the Daggers reached 3 wins in a row for the first time this season and moved 4 points clear of the bottom 4. Chesterfield's search for a first league win since August continues after an incredible 10th straight draw in the league. Bromley were the latest in a long list of stalemates for the Spireites, but after George Porter's opening goal, Bromley would have been disappointed not to gain the 3 points. Referee Simon Mather pointed to the spot in injury time after a handball, and Zavon Hines sent the keeper the wrong way, another point salvaged for the ultimate draw specialists. Maidenhead ended a run of 7 straight defeats when they surprised Sutton with a 1-0 defeat, but were 1-0 down after some good play from Ebbsfleet's Corey Whiteley and Michael Cheek. Cheek finishing off a well-worked move. It took an excellent Rhys Cole free kick to rescue a valuable point for the Magpies, with the Fleet having to wait for their first back-to-back win since August.
On to the weekend now, and Gateshead were the National League leaders' second home match of the week. Leyton Orient went into the clash with only 1 defeat in their opening 22 games of the season. Dale Gorman was fouled early on in East London. Fortunately for Greg Olley, he only received a caution. With seconds to go until the interval, the break was on for the O's and veteran midfielder Joby McAnuff. Josh Karoma went for goal, rattling the woodwork. With Justin Edinburgh's team dominating, McAnuff and Karoma linked up again in the second half. This time Karoma was able to beat Ainsley Pears, netting a 7th of the campaign. Gateshead sought to respond from a corner, but Middlesbrough loanee Luke Armstrong couldn't hit the target. 6 minutes into added time, the hosts still wanted to wrap up victory with a second and a 44th league goal of the season. James Alabi provided for Macaulay Bonne, joint top scorer in the National League with 16. Orient stay top.
Salford's job on Saturday was to keep pace with Leyton Orient. Havant and Waterlooville, the latest visitors to the Peninsula Stadium. Salford dominated the opposition throughout. The only surprise that it actually took so long for the home team to take the lead. Nathan Pond was denied a second goal of the season by the post, and that was a warning of the things to come. A warning not taken seriously by the Hawks, who played a dangerously high line against Adam Rooney. 3 high-quality touches later, and the ball was nestling in the back of the net. The striker now has 17 for the season. 1 minute later, and the Amis doubled their lead. 18-year-old Romanian Denis Politic is on loan from Bolton Wanderers, and his fine individual goal may well make it difficult for Alexander to secure his services beyond January, when he's due to return to his parent club. Rooney really should have made it 18 goals for the season when Danny Lloyd-McGoldrick pounced on a goalkeeping error to set up his strike partner. A Rooney miss was a rarity. Until this week, Danny Whitehead goals were rare, but for the second game in a row, he scored from outside of the box. Salford remain just 1 point behind Orient. The two sides meet at the Matchroom Stadium on the 5th of January.
You could see, towards the end there was a little bit of tired legs, but overall a fantastic win, and really pleased to keep a clean sheet as well and score 3 goals. So yeah, it's a good afternoon for us all.
Following their defeat to Salford earlier in the week, Harrogate Town faced Maidenhead United for the first time. The hosts had lost 5 at home this season. Just over 10 minutes had been played at York Road, and from a Town corner, head tennis in the Maidenhead box, there was a failed Io Obelay clearance and an assist from Mark Beck, allowing Callum Howe to open the scoring, bagging a 6th of the campaign. Simon Weaver's men have found the net in all but one of their away fixtures this season. Jack Muldoon was next to have a go at Carl Pentney. His shot hit the post, and Pentney, who deflected the ball back onto himself before the danger was cleared. Still inside the opening half an hour, a Maidenhead move through the middle was halted by the slightest of touches. Harshly perhaps, referee Lloyd Wood awarded an indirect free kick for a pass back. Reece Cole fired in the set-piece, and Adrian Clifton scored the equaliser 1-1. The visitors did appeal to the officials for offside, but the goal, Clifton's 3rd of the season, was to stand. On the other side of the break in Yorkshire, Beck was again busy in the box for Harrogate from a corner, helping Kelvin Langmead secure an important away victory from Yorkshire. Weaver's team remain in the playoff positions with a game in hand over most of their promotion rivals.
I felt that they deserved their win, to be honest. I felt that we put one very decent ball into the box. We got a goal, got back into the game, we were pushing. Half-time came, we got into the boys at half-time about having desire and about wanting the game, and I felt that they probably wanted it a little bit more than us today, which is disappointing.
We were frustrated with the goal we conceded. Came in at half-time and they were a little bit down, but we knew we had 45 minutes to put it right, and in the full second half we pretty much played the full game in their half. It was just a matter of if we were going to score, but fortunately we did.
After rescuing a point from 2-0 down midweek at Braintree, Sutton were on the road again, this time to face a Fylde side who were in confident mood after back-to-back wins. That confidence showed as the Coasters took the lead 10 minutes before the break. Andy Boyd picking up the pieces after Nick Horton's original shot was saved. Sutton's comeback on Tuesday began with 15 minutes remaining, and around about the same time in this match they found some fight. Debutant Brad Pearce scoring the first goal of his career. Fylde's response was to take the lead again. Hime Torre with the neat turn and finish restored the lead, and with just 9 minutes remaining, all the home side had to do was hold on, and Dave Challoner's men would have picked up 9 points in a week. But Sutton are becoming draw specialists, and Kieran Cadogan's equaliser 2 minutes from time secured a 5th draw in 6 in all competitions for Paul Doswell's side.
I said at half time, if technically you're not great in terms of how we want to pass the ball and things like that, which again was tough because with the rain the pitch was ridiculously quick, then the other parts of the game have to be bob on in terms of your restarts, physically competing, concentration, and we've conceded 2 horrific goals.
Got to say, a fantastic club set up. Everything about the day was first class, and to get the equaliser in that last sort of 3 or 4 minutes, I think deserved, and draw was probably about right.
Earlier this week, Hartlepool's 6th loss in succession meant the end of a 9-month spell as manager for Matthew Bates. He took over from Craig Harrison last season when Pools were close to going out of business. A positive start to this campaign didn't last after Fylde on Tuesday. Hartlepool had earned only 1 point from a possible 24. Director of football Craig Hignett says the club are in no rush to appoint their next boss.
We want to try and get the right man, and if that means speaking to a load, then we'll speak to a load. If we interview someone and he impresses and we feel he's the right man, then we'll appoint it. So I think the plan was always to take our time a little bit to make sure that we get the right man. It's an ambitious club. It's a club with a plan as well, a club that wants to go places. The chairman's ambitious. He doesn't want to be sitting around too much. So whoever comes in is going to get all the backing that they need, and I say it's a great job for someone.
This weekend, Pools hosted Dagenham and Redbridge, a side going for a 4th straight win under the guidance of Peter Taylor. Hignett, meanwhile, was in caretaker charge in the home dugout. The clash started positively for Hartlepool as during an attacking move, Alex McQueen was ruled to have brought down Mark Kitching, penalty given by referee Joe Hull. The reliable Liam Noble scored for the 9th time this term. This season's already his best campaign for goals in the league. After half-time and going for a second, Carl Mane went agonisingly close from a Noble corner. In the 90th minute, Ben Goodliff rose to get the better of Scott Loach. It's a first senior goal from the player on loan from Wolves. And as Hignett's team went for the winner in the northeast, the Daggers went for it on the counter. The fresh legs of late sub Tommy Adeloy were problematic. His strike was parried by Loach into the path of Matt Robinson, who secured victory. It's now 4 wins in a row for Dagenham, 7 losses in succession for Hartlepool.
Andy Hessenthaler surprised the division when he left Eastleigh to join second from bottom Dover in early October. The Spitfires had just won 4 on the trot and sat 10th in the league, but Hessenthaler has history with Dover, achieving back-to-back promotions with the club from the Ryman South to the Conference South. Still second from bottom in the 5th tier, he returned to the Silver Lake Stadium with his new Chargers, hoping to make it 3 wins from 3. Not the greatest of starts though. Mitch Walker managed to push away Mark Yates' free kick, only as far as Joey Jones. His cross to the edge of the 6-yard box was converted by Ben Williamson. 2 minutes into Hessenthaler's return, his side were 1 down. This was the second Saturday in a row Eastleigh fans were seeing a former manager in the opposition dugout after Martin Allen's visit last week. Just like last weekend, Eastleigh surrendered their lead, Ini Effiong lurking in the right place to score from Stuart Lewis's long-range shot. It seemed unlikely that the Dover boss could surprise his former players with a training ground routine, but that's exactly what happened 10 minutes after the break as Jai Reason turned the match on its head. Dover in front, Eastleigh despondent. But another set-piece goal meant the points were shared. Yates again with the delivery, Paul McCallum with the header. Hessenthaler had been just minutes away from leaving his old stomping ground with all 3 points.
There's lots of history between these two. Aldershot were unbeaten in 8 home matches against Ebbsfleet United, but Fleet defeated Shotts in last season's playoff eliminator. After a close first half, the second in the wet and cold started with an early opener. Michael Cheek made it 1-0 to Fleet, and for him 3 goals in 4 matches. Minutes later, Gary Hill's visitors pushed to double their advantage. A Danny Kedwell cross was cleared by Shotts defender Marvin McCoy, aided by the crossbar. Ebbsfleet were on for making it 7 matches without defeat. Lively Corey Whiteley caused problems for Gary Waddock's defence, eventually being stopped through a foul by Luke Howell. Penalty given. A spot kick sent confidently down the middle by Kedwell took his tally for the campaign to 8. A dominant display by the away team could have been shown in the result, but late on Jack King headed at the bar. Aldershot are now on their worst run of the season as Fleet are 5 points off the playoffs.
I think we all know that the National League's very unforgiving. It's that sort of league, this league, where you've got to, be consistent, and we're doing that at the moment. But as I say, everyone goes through their spells over the course of the season. All clubs at the top half or bottom half, you have good spells, you have bad spells, but we want to turn around hopefully and be consistent and competitive, see where we go.
What I don't understand is you go to Orient and you battle and you perform and scrap, and a few days later you put in a performance like that, which is totally unacceptable. That we ain't scored for a number of games, we're conceding goals for fun, and that just tells you where we are at this moment in time.
It was a 600-mile round trip for any Barrow fans making the journey from the northwest to bottom of the table Braintree. If your support are that committed, best to give them something to cheer nice and early. Kemi Augustine obliged 9 minutes in, and the trip was looking worthwhile. Not sure about that celebration though, Kemi. With a 6-hour trip home, Barrow fans would need something to talk about other than the win. How about a debut to forget for one of the opposition? Callum Morton somehow headed over from less than a yard out. After the break, the West Brom loanee was at it again from 6 yards out. The teenager unable to sort out his feet, and Barrow were riding their luck. That was until just after the hour mark, Augustine with the ball over the top, and Tyler Smith did the rest. He then showed his teammate what a proper celebration looked like. That coach journey back to Cumbria would have been a delight.
They really want to fight for each other. I think they've shown that today. They've dug in at times, but with glimpses of real quality that Kemi can give you. Tyler Smith's now into double figures this season, and for a 19-year-old lad in his first season in men's football, it's exceptional. So we just need to roll our sleeves up, keep working hard, keep building on the foundations we're laying for ourselves, and see where the new year takes us.
With a narrow 1-point lead, Leyton Orient remain top of the 5th tier after 23 games. Below Salford, Harrogate and Wrexham have a game in hand. Barrow's away win at Braintree ensures they move up into the top half into 12th position. Braintree remain last in the National League with only 14 points so far this season. They're 7 away from safety. Dagenham's impressive run means Peter Taylor's men are now up to 15th. And as you can see in 13th, Barnet have 3 games in hand over some sides.
Halifax's hopes of a dream run in the FA Cup are over after a ruthless AFC Wimbledon disposed of Jamie Fullerton-Shaman. Goals from Ben Purrington, Anthony Wordsworth and Joe Piggott, making it a comfortable win for the visitors. The dream was over for Maidstone United too. Chris O'Grady's late solo effort for Oldham completed a 2-0 win over Harry Wheeler's men. Confusion surrounded Wrexham's racecourse ground hours before kick-off with Newport County, when news broke that the club had told manager Sam Ricketts not to attend the match after rumours of a proposed move to managerless Shrewsbury. Assistant Graham Barrow led the team, but admitted it had been business as usual in the week building up to the game.
We work closely together, and Sam's still the manager, so we both agreed on the team yesterday morning, so no, but it's very much his team.
Will he be watching the game from somewhere?
Oh, I'd like to think so. I certainly will be, yeah.
And have you spoken to him today?
Yeah, we've spoken, but he's wished us all the best, and I think he's obviously disappointed not to be here.
Despite all that, Wrexham went closest to opening the scoring against the side a league above them. Stuart Bevan lobbed county keeper Joe Day, only for Mickey Demetriou to clear the ball off the line. Wrexham captain Sean Pearson spoke to BT Sport after the final whistle.
Obviously it's a strange one, I've never been involved in a situation like that, but just got a phone call off the chairman, so to speak, at the club, and explained what was going on, and then obviously got a phone call off the manager himself, and then spoke to Graham, obviously the assistant who's taking the game, so that was it really, and just obviously relayed it to the lads. And once you get out there, sort of you forget about it anyway. Playing a game, you just get on with it, and it was a good game, I thought.
Back to the action, and on Sunday Barnet progressed to round 3 thanks to a Dan Sparks header. The win means the Bees are in the draw for the third round for the first time since 2008. Draw specialists Chesterfield would need to find a way to win against League 2 opposition Grimsby. The visitors won both games against their hosts last season in the league and continued that run after goals from Charles Vernham and Harry Clifton dispatched Martin Allen's side. National League South Slough Town welcomed Gillingham to Arbour Park, but it was the Gills who made it into the third round draw. Darren Oldacre with a terrific finish for Steve Lovell's side. There were 2 Merseyside derbies on Sunday. 6 miles from Anfield, Tranmere Rovers hosted Southport. Mickey Mellon's men took the lead through substitute Johnny Smith. The National League North side earned a replay though thanks to Bradley Barressa's superb strike. Both sides will be in Monday evening's draw. And the romance of the FA Cup was alive and well at Swindon as Jake Hyde came back to haunt the League 2 side. He was released by the Robins as a teenager and scored the only goal of the game to make sure Woking made it into the third round.
The next Saturday's a big one on BT Sport. Starting our day of football is Saturday Morning Savage from 11:30 in the morning. We're then in Hertfordshire as leaders of the National League Leyton Orient face last season's playoff finalists Boreham Wood. Wood against the O's is followed by BT Sports Score, that begins at 2:45. Then a brilliant Premier League double header. Pep Guardiola gets to play away to one of the men he admires most in football, Maurizio Sarri. Chelsea-Manchester City is live from 5. And from the bridge to the Midlands, Leicester City host Tottenham Hotspur, the side they famously beat 2 years ago to the Premier League title. All of this is available on BT Sport 1 HD and the live action on the BT Sport 4K channel. We're going to finish this week with our top 5 goals from November. Until next weekend, goodbye.